All right, welcome to the Northeast 130th Street and South Shoreline 145th Street Station's Multimodal Access Plan. This will be a brief overview on the background of the projects that you're going to look at today and the stations. If you want more background information, there's also a video from our open house last fall that goes into more detail about the process, the planning process that we've been through so far on the home page. And you can check that out under the resources sidebar. Today, we'd like to share some draft project ideas with you on how to improve walking, biking, and taking transit to the future 130th and South Shoreline 145th light rail stations. We want to see if you like the projects so we can rate them based on your input. And we also want to hear your thoughts on how we could make changes to improve the projects. In this video, we'll discuss our planning process so far, tips on how to engage with the survey, and our next steps. Before we get started, we want to introduce ourselves. My name is Lizzie Mall, and I work for the Seattle Department of Transportation, and I'm a transportation planner. And here with me today is also Chris.
Hi, everybody. My name's Chris Saliba. I work with Lizzie at the Seattle Department of Transportation, and I'm also a transportation planner in the Policy and Planning Group.
Great. So thank you for spending some time with us today and for your interest in this project. When we began this transportation planning process a year and a half ago, we didn't plan for the era we're in right now and didn't expect that we would have to do engagement with you only online. Unfortunately, we can't come to you because we're following health and safety guidance limiting large gatherings during the COVID-19 pandemic. As public servants and stewards of the public right-of-way at the Seattle Department of Transportation, we know that not everyone has the same access to opportunities. If we want our streets and sidewalks to be welcoming for all communities, then we need to find ways to include folks who have barriers to participation. We want to partner with you and be resources right now and moving forward. We are a city that must lead with racial equity. Black Lives Matter. We actively recognize that we live, learn, and work on Indigenous land, the current and ancestral homelands of the Duwamish, Snohomish, and Central Coast Salish people. It is an honor for us to do transportation work that plans for the future and hopefully makes our city more just. Thank you for spending your time with us, and we appreciate your feedback. You may have noticed that there are some big transportation projects coming to the neighborhood. You're already seeing that construction of the light rail line next to I-5, and there are also going to be new buses that will connect along North 145th Street from the new light rail station in South Shoreline to Bothell. The area that we primarily looked at for station area planning was about a mile in each direction of the 130th light rail station. So this gets us to the interurban trail on the west side of Aurora, northeast 115th to the south, Lake City Way to the east, and northeast 145th Street and the boundary with Shoreline to the north. So Sound Transit is leading the design work at the station and the construction of the track. This work that we're going to be talking with you today about focuses on the areas around the stations and what improvements you'd like to see for folks to better walk, bike, and take transit to these stations. We're especially focused on non-car movements in this plan because the northeast 130th Street station will not have a parking garage.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the timeline of this project in relation to the Sound Transit projects. So we're working on completing the multimodal access plan document this year. The new light rail station at South Shoreline 145th is scheduled to open in 2024. Additionally, the 522 bus rapid transit is also scheduled to begin service in 2024. The Northeast 130th Street station is currently scheduled to open in 2031, although Sound Transit is exploring the option of potentially opening sooner in 2024. We're working on a plan that will prepare us for either scenario for the station's opening for the 130th station, whether it opens in 24 or 31. There are some links on the webpage for more information about the Sound Transit projects specifically.
Over the past year and a half, the Seattle Department of Transportation has been working with you and your neighbors and gathering ideas for how we can help folks get to the future light rail stations and the new bus rapid transit bus stops along Northeast 145th. In March of 2019, the City of Seattle had a kickoff open house. And since then, we've held some workshops, in-person meetings, and one-on-ones with local groups. We've also done online surveys, and they were completed by hundreds of people. So over the past year and a half, we've been pretty busy. This slide has some highlights of what we've heard so far, and we heard that community members would like more infrastructure like sidewalks and bicycle facilities and street crossings for people to be able to choose to get to the 130th light rail station without using a car. So these are a few things that we heard over and over again. Improve the 130th overpass for walking and biking. Improve walking and biking along Jackson Park. Provide safe walking and biking connections along 130th and moving east and west through the neighborhoods. And also improve pedestrian safety along busy roads and crossing busy roads.
With the information that we heard from the community, as well as looking through our existing modal plans, we identified 90+ projects. We grouped and combined the projects because these included like spot improvements, like wanting a curb ramp here or filling in missing sidewalks into larger corridor projects to get us from 90 to 28 projects. We then evaluated and prioritized the projects to get us to a core set of 18 projects. We're now refining and adding more detail to these 18 projects based on your feedback. And then after we do that, that will get us to our final project list. So through our process, as I mentioned, we identified 18 projects that we think address many of the community concerns for improvements that could be made for helping folks walk, bike, and take transit to the light rail stations. Right now, these 18 projects are high-level concepts, and we also want folks to note that these projects are not currently funded. Rather, we've identified where potential future funding might come from. What we also did is that we organized the projects into 3 geographic areas to allow you to focus on projects that are more relevant to where you live. They're organized in the West Sector projects, light blue, so these are projects on the west side of I-5, the Northeast Sector projects shown in orange, and the purple projects are the Southeast Sector projects. So these are projects on the southeast of I-5. For each of the 18 projects, we evaluated and scored each one for whether or not or how much it improves safety, for improving connectivity and mobility, how it addresses issues identified through community input, equity, whether the project addresses the need of people who are underserved, livability, does the project serve the urban villages and improve access to other neighborhood amenities? And we also looked at implementation. Does the project, what does the project cost and how complex is it to build? We then prioritized the projects based on tiers to develop a network hierarchy. So these 3 tiers, the first shown in the thickest line, tier 1, provides direct access to future stations. So this would be a project such as the 130th Street overpass. Tier 2 projects, these are projects that connect tier 1 into the surrounding neighborhoods. And then tier 3 projects complete connections to urban villages, the interurban trail, and other outlying areas. Now we'd like to take a look at the projects that interest you, and what we'd like to get is have you provide us with your feedback. So to do this, we've created these surveys, and the little image up on the slide in light blue on the bottom. Those are links. So what we'd like you to do is please click on the links below the project map on the website for more information about each project. You'll have an opportunity to read about project recommendations, and then also provide us your level of what you believe your level of support is for the project, and then also provide us with some additional input or suggestions you might have for making that project better. So next steps. The survey will be live until about, actually it will be live until August 3rd, excuse me. We'll have a brief follow-up recorded presentation where Lizzie and I will respond to your questions that you submit. And we'll also kind of reflect back on some of the changes that we heard about the projects, how to make them better. We're hoping to publish our final document in early fall 2020. And then please stay tuned for other information sessions that will be led by the Office of Planning and Community Development, our partner in this project, related to the Northeast 130th Street Station area planning.
Thank you so much.
We want to thank you for your time. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you from both me and Chris, obviously. Please email us if you have any questions, or if you have an anonymous question or comment. There's a survey linked at the bottom of the website where you can give input or general comments about our process.